Hi, and welcome to episode 6 of the belief system and trust. I would say that this is probably the most difficult of the 6 episodes that I've presented so far on the belief system. The belief system that we have within ourselves isn't about religion or anything like that. It has to do with what we believe to be true, what we count on, and we make decisions based on how we feel about certain things. And we trust certain things to be true, to happen, to take place. And when those things don't happen, it, it shakes us up. For example, if you are going through a green light, you trust that the people on the opposite way are going to stop, that they're going to obey the law. There are many things that we trust to be true that we just believe in and don't even think about it. Unfortunately, a lot of us have had our trust in authority figures, in where we get our news, even our medical societies. We've we've had our trust shattered in the last 5 years. We really have, many of us, taken stock and wondered what is going on. And maybe it's just the last 3 years, but it started many, many years ago. And today I want to go over the 5 ways, the pillars that we base our trust on. So trust is built on truth, what we believe to be true. When we find someone that we've trusted in a lie, it actually shatters us. We go like, how can that be true? We want to question it. We don't want to believe it. And yet it's difficult. And if we watch and are aware of what really is going on and we listen to facts, it's difficult. Difficult because it can shatter us. Stephen Covey refers to this as a bank account, that the more things that you do that say, okay, yes, I can trust this person. And so that's basically relationships. You go along with a person and you get to know them and you think, okay, this is this person, this is how they believe, and we are on the same page. And then all of a sudden something happens, a discovery of some sort, and you say, wow, this isn't the person I married, this isn't the person I thought they were. It's a horrible, horrible experience. And I know many of you have gone through that. Some of you have gone through divorce. Some of you have gone through separation. Even this has happened with children or somebody who has an addiction, and the addiction actually takes over and they're no longer the person that you knew. And that's really, really hard. And that's the hard thing that we want to talk about today, trust. Hi, I'm Mary Bourne. I'm a traditional naturopath. I love sharing natural remedies with people. Natural remedies have been around for hundreds, even thousands of years because they work. And they work on humans and often pets too. So it is an interesting thing that in God we trust is on our currency. It is a motto of the United States. In God we trust. But more and more people don't trust in God, and they really don't want that on our currency for whatever reason. I remember in the judicial system where that was in a courtroom right above that you'd be looking at, and it would say, God we trust. You used to swear on the Bible. I don't think that happens anymore. Let me know in the comments if you know for sure whether it occurs or not. But I have seen many court proceedings that people don't swear on the Bible anymore. So, do we trust in God? I personally think God is the only one we can trust in, because we're humans. And when humans are put under pressure and we fear, maybe for our life or the life of the others, we're going to tell that person whatever they want to hear, whether it's true or not. So fear will make us lie. And when we lie, we lose trust. So it's a difficult thing. When you trust somebody, you really have to understand that they too are human and allow them the ability to tell you the truth, no matter how hard it is to hear. You know, our prefrontal cortex is the decision-making part of the thinking brain. And it really isn't truly developed until we're 25. So an 18-year-old or a 16-year-old, they don't have the capacity to really know the truth. They're still finding it out, basically. There's a lot of children that are trying to find out who they are. When I was growing up, it was a lot less confusing. You know, you were a girl, you were a boy, you followed certain rules, it's a whole different world that kids grow up in now. Parents have allowed children to just do their thing, find out who they are. It's like there are rules. There are God rules. They're called the commandments. And we need to learn to keep those commandments. And I don't mean to make this a religious class. I'm trying to help people get a grasp on where we've gone by the wayside and how come we don't trust each other anymore. Everything is doubt and fear, and it takes incredible courage to tell the truth, especially when the consequences are something that we know may not be what we want to happen, where, you know, where we did something and we have to tell a partner or our spouse that about the situation, and we're embarrassed about it and we want to lie. We want to hold back. But what we have to do is have the courage to tell the truth, even though the consequences seem unendurable. In relations, when you're ashamed of something, you really don't. Our humanity doesn't want us to be hurt. We don't want to have something shift in what we depend on. It's a difficult thing. People who work under awful situations can't really have any recourse. They can't say, no, I don't want to do that, unless they have so much courage to know that there's something better out there, that they can depend on God to find a way out for them. Once trust has been shattered, it is difficult to allow your heart to open up again. I've worked with emotional healing for over 35 years. And I've worked with a lot of people with trust issues. They want to go into a new relationship or a relationship that's been there 6 months and they want to go to the next level, but they don't trust it. They can't open their heart to trust. And we move this energy, this stuck energy, because that's what it is, holding them back. And once we move the stuck energy, they can make a logical, rational decision on what they want to do. One of the ways I can help people move this energy is through the flower essence called Open Heart. And flower essences help to subtly move energy. And these, think of a champagne glass, and the bubbles rising to the top are these stuck emotions. That's what happens when you take Open Heart. Now, Open Heart is glycerin based. It's not like other flower essences that are alcohol based. So children can take them. So children that have been sort of the victims, if you will, of parental divorce or abuse or some horrible thing, even animals that have been abused, and their first thing is to fight or sit and quiver or whatever. Open Heart allows them to trust that their new owners or that these children will go on to know that they can trust. There are certain people they can trust. Maybe they can't trust their father or their mother or even a sibling, but there are people who they can turn to and know they'll be there for them. And that's what you have to develop as a person who's been abused or been betrayed. Allow that energy to flow through and know that there are things you can trust in. For me, it's God. I trust in God. I ask God for guidance all the time to help me make good decisions. And that works for me. Each person has to find what works for them on finding the understanding that you're doing the right thing, that the path that you're following is true, that, you know, there's a lot of people in this world I don't trust. I don't trust everybody. You know, I'm aware of my situation, but I'm not hyper aware. I think that that makes you weary and makes you doubtful, and it robs you of love. And so this flower essence has been essential in helping people to move on, to break that crust of keeping people away at a distance. You know, unless you allow that person in, you can't have a really healthy relationship. It's a give and take, and find that way of giving and taking. So I'll put a link in the description below for 25% off of any products that you get with Nature Sunshine. I also love their Rose Bulgaria. I make a nighttime spray with that I put on my face and love it. But here's something that recently I became aware of. It's a book called One Idea to Rule Them All. And it's a compilation of facts of things that have transpired and how this one world order has been in the works for over 200 years. And it is an incredible thing to know how so many corporations are actually part of several, not hundreds. We think we have choices. We don't. We have what appears to be a choice, and that corporation is owned by bigger corporations. And she ties this all together on how our belief system is, how we have arrived at our belief system, as there are 5 pillars and 3 of them are the most important. So it's experience, it's like what we encounter, and also, though, as we grow up, the experience that we acquire through parents, through siblings, through, so close relationships. Then there's social pressure, which is like when you go to school and you're bullied, and that creates a belief system, or that you want to fit in, and so you confront your home belief system with a different belief system. And then there's authority. So you have like the teachers, the police, all those that have their role in society and basically making laws and that type of thing. Then there's 2 others, and one of them is imagination. And a lot of times imagination is quelched. You're not allowed to have imagination. In our society today, imagination has been hijacked by video games, by movies, by you don't create anymore. You are a emoji and you create your own emoji, so to speak. But in reality, when you experience something and you look at, for example, growing things, being a gardener, my imagination can take hold based on some of the facts, like I know what a marigold looks like, and when I plant a seed, eventually I will have what looks like a marigold. Or creating a garden space, or if I'm knitting, I know that if I knit and purl in a certain way, I will have a pattern by the end of a certain set of time and yarn. So, think of different ways in which your imagination can develop and create your belief system. The other one is language, how things are said. You're seeing things one way, and that is what you believe in. And then somebody else is telling you, no, that's, black isn't black, black is dark blue, or maroon, or whatever. And what you have to do is figure out inside you whether or not you want to take on that belief, or if you want to continue believing the way you're believing. And the whole thing is how does it make you feel? If it makes you feel good and you feel like joy or peace, and it's the right thing. But if you feel troubled and not so good, don't go there. So belief systems can depend on these 5 pillars. So I think it's a great book. Actually, I'll leave a link in the description below, and that link will give you the first 2 chapters. So you know, try it before you buy it type of thing. So unfortunately, the wide censoring of reason and fact wants to narrow down what we think, how we view certain things. The tantalizing thought that the leaders of society can actually manufacture ideas and inject them into the population in such a manner as to win wide-reaching assent without the slow and tedious need for reason and discourse was proven correct. Adolf Hitler. Think of it. We only could think one way about handling COVID. There were lots of doctors that were working in the field, but they could not express and debate, which is what science is all about. Science isn't one directional. Science is taking in a group of people sharing their experiences and seeing what the common thread is, not developing the common thread and shoving it on society. So the institutions we used to base our belief system on have been compromised. Authority figures have an agenda. The news agencies are controlled by corporations. If somebody is paying your salary, you are not going to bite the hand that feeds you. And that's what has happened with the news people. They used to have, you know, if you read one newspaper, it would have one way of looking at things, and another newspaper would have a different view of the situation. But it's all the same. If you read one, you've read them all. It's the same thing when you view it on TV, when you see it on social media, it's all the same stuff. And if you don't agree, you're criticized in great detail. Our health regulatories, the FDA, are controlled by corporations. There is a open door, swinging door, whatever you want to call it. People will leave the medical corporations, the pharmaceutical industries, and go into the FDA. Well, that's like the wolf guarding the hen house. It's ridiculous. They're making rules that help pharmacology. And that's why so many people are being sick or getting sick, because of the medication that they're on is not been tested like it used to be. They used to have a gold standard of testing, double-blind, placebo-controlled, and then you brought it out to the public. We are now the guinea pigs for many drugs. So many people have lost faith in the medical community. Herbalism has tripled in the last year. The people wanting to take control of their health with old-fashioned, tried and true methods. So hospitals are now being controlled. The hospital that my husband and I had to go to for COVID used to be called St. Joe's. It's now Trinity Health, a corporation. Beaumont Hospital, now run by a corporation. You step back and look at the things. I put my trust in God. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. It is something that is my mantra now. I choose the people around me whom I trust. And the others, I just shake my head and nod. So put your trust in God. What believe in your heart to be true. Pray for guidance and direction, and don't be swayed. Don't be bullied by those who think they know better. Be directed by good. Live your life in gratitude and joy. And I hope that somehow this has been helpful and that you share it with other people. I hope that if it's been helpful, that you give me a thumbs up. This is going to end the series that I created on the belief system. The Health to Home will be taking up another topic for the next time. I try to do these once a week, but this one, I went down so many rabbit holes. It was really hard for me to contain it in a short amount of time. And I will be leaving links in the description below for some of the research areas that I visited. And I hope that that you gain something by this and be hopeful and learn to trust again, but trust in God first. Thanks for viewing. This is Dr. Mary for the next time, for the health of it. Until next time.